Alex Eala is semi-final bound.
I feel very confident about her on the grass.
Crowd goes insane. That is not a headline. That is the actual sound rolling off the grass at Edgbaston Priory Club right now.
I'm really happy. I felt good in a lot of the moments here, and I was able to overcome obstacles. So especially being the first week on grass, I'm really happy. Yeah.
A wall of Filipino voices erupting on an English tennis court that has stood for over a century and never heard anything like it.
I do get a lot of love. I get a lot of support from my home country.
Birmingham, England, June 5th, 2026. Thousands of miles from Manila, and it sounds like Manila. And the woman standing in the eye of that storm is 21-year-old Alex Eala, facing the one player on the planet who has already beaten her when it counted. Here is the detail that detonates this whole story. Eala is the one seed in Birmingham, yet she is ranked just number 37 in the world, playing a WTA 125 event, a full tier below the main tour, completely on purpose. Birmingham is the perfect grass tune-up before Wimbledon, and Eala sits a mere 82 ranking points behind the world number 32. Win the title here, and that gap shrinks to 6 points, locking in something no Filipino has ever owned in the modern era: a Wimbledon seed. Every ball she strikes in this quarterfinal is secretly a Wimbledon ball. But to understand why the tie across the net has the insiders sweating, we rewind 19 months to the night she dismantled Alex Eala, November 22, 2024. Takasaki, Japan. Eala, the higher-ranked player, storms the first set 6-4, and then watches the whole thing detonate. Mananchaya Sasawangyu rips off the next two sets 6-1, 6-2, and walks away with the biggest win of her life. And that is the part the mainstream coverage conveniently buries. This is no anonymous qualifier who tripped into a quarterfinal. This is a former top 100 player, Thailand's number 1, a Grand Slam main draw debutante, and this year a WTA 125 champion. Her ranking of number 173 is a temporary valley, not the truth about her ceiling. Bottom line, she has beaten Alex Eala before, from a set down, convincingly. That kind of knowledge does not evaporate at a border crossing. So when these two collided again, the script handed Sawangyu the cruelest possible stage. December 18th, 2025, the SEA Games final in Bangkok, Sawangyu's home country, her home crowd, a stadium screaming for a Thai champion, and Eala crushed her 6-1, 6-2. Put yourself in Sawangyu's shoes for 1 second. You are the local hero, your people fill every seat, and you win 3 games total against the very player you once beat. That is the most brutal psychological defeat tennis can hand a human being. But here is what that victory actually meant, something almost no Western broadcast bothered to explain. That gold medal ended a 26-year drought for the Philippines in women's singles. And the instant it touched her neck, Eala took it off and handed it to her mother, Riza Maniego Eala, who won a SEA Games bronze in swimming in that exact city of Bangkok 40 years earlier. Same city, different sport, gold instead of bronze. A generational relay completed live on national television. That is why Filipinos cross oceans for this woman, not for a ranking, for that. Now flip the map. 6 months later, the rivalry lands in England, and this time it is Eala drowning in her own people. A WTA 125 quarterfinal normally plays out to half-empty stands and polite silence. Instead, Filipino fans have stormed Edgbaston Priory Club, one of the most buttoned-up sporting institutions in all of England. The takeover was loud enough that the LTA's own Instagram put a presenter on camera pointing out the surge of Filipino fans at the venue. A WTA 125 does not generate that. An Alex Eala event does. And if you are one of the people who called this early, who watched Bangkok and said The world is about to find out who she is. Birmingham is your proof. The English tennis establishment did not pencil this match in expecting a Manila roar. You saw it before they did. Now, do not let one word fool you about the danger. That word is qualifier. Watch the trajectory instead. February 2026, Sawangkyu wins the WTA 125 Mumbai Open, taking down 17-year-old Lily Tagger 6-4, 6-3 in the final pure redemption after losing that same final the year before, then Birmingham. Then 6-4, 7-5 over Linda Klimovakova. Then a savage 6-4, 6-1 takedown of America's Kayla Day, ranked nearly 30 spots above her. 3 wins on grass, a surface she does not call home, against rising opposition. That is not cannon fodder. That is a champion whose ranking simply has not caught up to her game. Which leaves one honest question burning. Eala has the crowd, the seed, the form. 0 sets dropped all week. The pressure has flipped. It is no longer on the underdog. It is crushing down on the favorite, who is carrying a nation, a Wimbledon dream, and the ghost of Takasaki all at once. And look at who is watching that pressure build. In March 2026, when Eala hit her career high of number 29, the official news arm of the Rafael Nadal Academy, the institution founded on the name and standards of the man who won 22 Grand Slam titles, published a feature celebrating her climb and claiming her as one of their own. Elite systems do not stake their name on players they see as a passing fad. They do it for players they believe will define an era. The wider tennis public has placed its bet, too. On the WTA's own match page, fans predicting this quarterfinal backed Eala over Sawangkyu by a staggering 93% to 7. The world has already crowned the favorite, but 7% is precisely the kind of number Sawangkyu has spent her entire career detonating. The reason this match shakes the sport sits in the geography itself. 2 players from Southeast Asia, one Filipino, one Thai, battling in a WTA quarterfinal on English soil. Tennis has always orbited the United States, Europe, and Australia. Southeast Asia stranded at the margins. This quarterfinal hauls that margin onto center court. And with Indonesia's Janice Jen, the number 2 seed, already knocked out, this is the last all Southeast Asian match left alive in the entire draw. Then there is the pipeline. If Eala banks these points and earns a Wimbledon seed, she becomes the first Filipino player ever seeded at the most prestigious grass tournament on Earth in the Open era. A story that ignites right here in this quarterfinal. Wimbledon 2026 hits at the end of this month, a possible grass stop at Eastbourne in between, the very event where Eala reached a tour-level final last year. For Sawangkyu, the mirror is exact. Win Birmingham and she rockets back toward the top 100 and the career high she lost. 2 players, 1 match, 2 national tennis histories swinging on a single point. None of this arrived on a clean road. In May at the Strasbourg Open, Eala fell in the round of 32 to Alexandra Olinikova, 3-6, 7-5, 6-3, taking the first set and leading in the second before it slipped through her fingers. There was no shame in it. Olinikova played with her father in the stands, reportedly cleared to travel from Ukraine to see her for the first time in years, and that day belonged to her. Eala did next is the entire answer. She flew straight to Birmingham and opened 6-0, 6-2, then 6-2, 7-5, surrendering nothing. In a recent interview, she said her focus right now is not on results, but on sharpening her overall game. From a gutting clay exit to ruthless grass form in under 2 weeks, the scoreboard tells you exactly what kind of player swallows a loss that fast. So freeze the frame and take it all in at once. A court named for a Wimbledon champion. doubling as the launch pad for a Filipina's Wimbledon dream. A mother's 40-year-old bronze threaded through everything her daughter touches. The Takasaki defeat that screams the woman across the net is no formality. And a 93-7 pole branding Swankyu already beaten when 100% of her career has been built on burying odds exactly like that. This is not a top seed jogging past a qualifier. This is the most consequential grass court match of Alex Eala's life, decided not by her ranking, but by what her opponent already knows about her and by what beating her a second time would mean to a country still counting the decades between its proudest tennis nights. So here's the call only you can make. If Swankyu lands the upset today, does it rewrite this entire rivalry? And who are you taking when these two crash into each other on the grandest stage at Wimbledon? Drop your pick in the comments before the result is in. That is the bet that actually costs you something. And if you were tracking this rivalry before England was forced to notice, you are exactly who this channel exists for. Subscribe and lock in your prediction now. Then come back and see which one of us read the grass right.